Good evening, friends. Meeting again the session of Materia Medica, and we're learning different remedies. We have started with the LMCPA and Ifresia and later on converted into the injury remedies. Later on turned towards the rheumatic remedy. And in this series, yesterday we have discussed the Dalkamara. Prior to that, we have discussed about the Rustox. And today we're going to learn one more important remedy which has a lot of aspects, a very big king of antipsychotic remedy, and that is nothing but the Natrum Sulphuricum. This remedy has multiple facets. Basically, it is a tissue salt which is there in our body. Schussler has explained it very thoroughly, the physiological action of this remedy. But today I will not going to share the Schussler's aspect or biochemical aspect. I am going to share a homeopathic aspect, how Hahnemann have explained, how the Allen have explained regarding this Natrum Sulphuricum. But before going into the Allen's keynotes, just I want to share few things. I think one case I have shared, my close relative who had an head injury, who was admitted in the Pune hospital way back. This is 15, 20 years back. The history was there. And he was admitted over there and he got head injury and his MRI scan, everything found to be normal, but he became abusive and tremendously abusive. He was just shouting, crying, and giving continuously cursing and swearing. All those things were happening. They have done all possible means. That is, they considered logically that it might be cerebral edema which is developed because of the head injury, and that's why they were giving the mannitol to him. Then they were giving the steroids to him, all those things, but nothing was working. They have taken the opinion of psychiatrists. They tried to give him sedative, but it was not working. And I went over there to meet him. I saw his condition. The only remedy which stuck to my mind was the Natrum Sulphuricum, because it's so clear in Natrum Sulphuricum. The mental effects developed because of the head injury is the characteristic of this remedy. It is the after effects of the head injury, and specifically the psychological effects of the head injury on the body. So this was clear-cut case of cerebral concussion. There was not a cerebral hemorrhage. There was not cerebral ischemia, but it was very clear-cut cerebral concussion case. I prescribed him Natrum Sulphuricum. And to my surprise, the next day he was absolutely normal, who was not coming to the normal for 8 days. This is too important. Natrum Sulph is the remedy for such condition, and one should not forget Natrum Sulph for the after effects, specifically psychological effects on the after the head injury. Even a headache of long duration started due to the head injury, Natrum Sulph is one of the important remedy in such types of cases. So don't forget this most important thing about the Natrum Sulphuricum. Second case I want to share was a very interesting case. The child was brought to me, nearly about 3-4 years child, was brought to me who had an asthma, long-standing asthma. Since birth, he was continuously having an asthma. He was continuously on bronchodilators and then antibiotics and broncho sprays and all those things. And he was having very typical things. He used to get more aggravated around 4 to 5 a.m. in the morning. And then he used to get up from the sleep and he used to cough with expectoration. And that expectoration, that mother told me very clearly, doctor, his expectoration is greenish in color. Second important modality which she has mentioned about him is that every time rainy season comes, this starts. Since last 3 years, this is happening. Every time rainy season, he used to suffer a lot and this happens. And he was suffering a lot. So it was very clear-cut case of the children's asthma associated with 4 to 5 m aggravation associated with damp rainy season aggravation. It was clear of a Natrum Sulphuricum. I have prescribed Natrum Sulph. I have started Natrum Sulph, 33 more doses to the Natrum Sulph. I asked him to meet me within 3-4 days. What happens after taking this medicine, just along with the placebo. At that time, I have given placebo. I have not utilized any remedy because case was so clear. After 4-5 days, he returned. His father came. His mother was not there, and he came. He said, "Doctor, after giving your remedy, he's absolutely better for his asthma, but something new problem has have been aroused." So what's the problem? He said from his urethra there is a discharge going on, and he said, "I want to tell you, which I have not told in the history, that I had same problem 10 years back. I suffered from that. I took the penicillin injections for that. This discharge which was there with me, it was of similar nature, which I used to find it out." Then I asked whether you had extramarital relations, and he said yes. And then he told me the history, and he was treated with penicillin, and same miasm was transmitted in this child, and its discharge was reflecting. I told him, let it come out. It was typical greenish yellowish colored discharge, like a gonorrheal, and this is what is called as a gonorrheal poison, which was suppressed, and because of which this big asthma problem have been aroused in the next generation. So this reflected in that child. And when it was discharging, I asked him nothing to do, keep him on medicine. Placebo was going on, it will settle automatically. It was continued for 15 days. But when it continued and stopped after 15 days, he was absolutely a different child, where there was no asthma, nothing was there. He was absolutely healthy. His mood was normal, and everything found to be a very good. His weight gain was there. Everything found normal. So this is second case where I have utilized the Natrum Sulf, and I observed the Hahnemannian theory of suppressed gonorrhea leading to form new diseases. That was very clear concept which I have observed in this case. So these are very important things one must observe when you treat the cases. You get confirmation about the Hahnemannian aspect and understanding about the miasmatic theory. So I think this is sufficient to tell the cases, because it's a big remedy. We'll start with Allen's, and as we read Allen's, wherever time comes, I will share few more cases where I have treated or how I have treated that. So let us open your Allen's keynotes. We'll start with that sodium sulfate NaOSO4 10 aqueous solution. Elements which are aggravated by or which depend upon dampness of weather, damp houses, sailors. Yesterday we have discussed these three remedies: Rustox, Dulcamara, Natrum Sulf, and one remedy from spider group is Arani. These are having very typical damp weather aggravation, damp basements aggravation, rainy season aggravation. This is very typical with the Natrum Sulphuricum. Boric has given first sentence in his book. That is also a very important thing one must learn. Boric's first sentence, always try to keep it in your mind. A liver remedy. He started with the Natrum Sulf, a liver remedy. Very specifically, there is a comma, a liver remedy, especially indicated in so-called hydrogenoid constitution. See, this liver remedy has a very much close relationship with the liver and bile. It has very typical action on liver and bile. And that's why the discharges, the vomiting, and all those things which happens in case of Natrum Sulphuricum has very typical greenish tinge, greenish vomiting. Patient feels every change from dry to wet, cannot tolerate sea air, nor eat plants that thrive near the water. A constitution in which gonorrheal poison is most pernicious recovers slowly from every sickness. Recovery slowly from every sickness is the characteristic of psychotic miasm. They are low susceptible states where recovery period is quite slow. Second important thing which you have to understand over there is the discharges. The discharges are greenish. Third important thing which he mentions over there, the weather change from dry to wet and suffers from the asthma. Think of this remedy. These are the people who suffers from hydrogenoid constitution. They cannot tolerate water in any form. So dampness in the weather aggravates the if they eat the food which develops in more water, that affects those plants which turns to be a content more water aggravates them. Then fish aggravates them. Whenever they go near the sea, it gets aggravated. So all those things which you used to get over there in Natrum Sulphuricum, you will find going to find. And there is one sentence, a constitution in which gonorrheal poison is most pernicious. This is what gonorrheal poison, the second case which I have discussed. Gonorrhea, when suppressed, the discharges where gonorrheal poison is throwing away. But what happens when we treat with the modern medicine? They tries to suppress it, and once it is suppressed, it affects any important vital organ inside your body. Even it gets transmitted transplacentally. It transmits to the future generation the same miasm, and that's why this is what is called as a gonorrheal poison. It affects the most vital organs. Every spring, skin affections reappear like sorinum. You must know the classification of seasons. I think I have told you earlier also, but if you don't know, just for the sake, again write it down. There are 4 seasons in European countries. The first is autumn, between September to November. The second is winter, that is from December to February. Then comes the spring, March to May, and then summer, June to August. These are the seasons which were there in the European countries. All these drugs which are proved over there, and that's why it has been written directly according to their seasons. We do if you should we should not utilize the season, we should utilize the specifically the months. We must know which months. Then it will be quite easy for us to apply the medicine. So whenever spring comes, it means March to May. Even some part of June also comes over there. Every spring, skin affections reappears. Skin affections here, the fungal infection, specifically very common with this remedy. Inability to think, that is confusion of mind, like natrum carbonicum, it is there. Then the mental state, they are always sad, gloomy म्हणजे खिन्न, irritable, worse in the morning. So problem arises whenever they wakes up in the morning. Early in the morning, the problem is more. Dislikes to be speak or to be spoken to. So they never wants to speak with anyone, or someone starts talking with them. That also they don't like iodine and silica. Depressed. This state more of indicating the natrum aspect of the remedy. So sad, gloomy, taciturn, depressed, lively music makes her sad. All those things are natrum characteristic which are expressing in this specific remedy. Sulfur is not like that. Sulfur is absolutely different, but it is a combination. So natrum part makes it very clear. So depressed, lively music makes her sad. Satiety of life, weary of life, must use great self-control to prevent shooting herself. That is typical characteristic. They have suicidal thoughts in their mind. They control themselves and never goes for it. In fact, they don't have daring also. That is Natrum Sulphuricum. In case of Aurum, it is rather different. Aurum never talks about suicide. They makes the suicide. Natrum Sulphur, being a psychotic remedy, doesn't have a daring to go for it. And that's why they ask the others that don't keep a knife with me, they don't keep a gun with me. But they, even though they keep, they don't have that much of daring to kill themselves. Mental traumatism. See the sentence. It is given in italics. Mental traumatism. I have explained just first case, mental traumatism. Mental effects from injury to the head, chronic brain effects of the blows and falls. And this is wonderful remedy. I have used it many times. Even chronic headaches, persistent long time head injury. This is very important remedy. Granular leads. Leads are granular. Here it is the conjunctivitis, which is gonococcal conjunctivitis. That is very typical. That's why granular leads, like small blisters, thuja, green pus, and terrible photophobia, gonorrheal or psychotic. So gonorrheal gonococcal conjunctivitis is the characteristic of Natrum sulphuricum, and that is a psychotic conjunctivitis which you can get over there in this remedy. Nosebleed during the menses. Instead of menses, that is vicarious menstruation, you can get in bryonia, you can get in pulsatilla. Here it is not vicarious. Here it is very specifically at the time of menses, there is a nasal bleeding. Toothache, ameliorated by cold water, cool air, like coffee and pulsatilla. But coffee, the teeth are too sensitive and they feels better by holding cold water. As it becomes warm, they throws away, again takes the cold water. That much sensitivity is there with the coffee. This is not there with the Natrum sulphuricum. That much sensitivity you cannot get in Natrum sulphuricum. Dirty greenish gray or brown coating on the tongue. The greenish hue is very typical of Natrum sulph. Every discharge in Natrum sulph is greenish, tongue coated greenish gray. So this one should keep it in your mind. Diarrhea. Diarrhea is important, and this diarrhea has the sulfur tint in it. This is not natrum, this is sulfur. See, diarrhea is sudden, diarrhea with urging, diarrhea is gushing, diarrhea with much flatus, diarrhea on first rising and standing on feet, typical of a sulfur, diarrhea after the spell of wet weather, and diarrhea living or working in basements. Last two modalities makes it natrum sulph. Otherwise, it is typical sulfur. Last two modalities, aggravation during damp weather, aggravation during wet weather. This is very typical of the Natrum sulphuricum. Or aggravation living or working in basements. This is typical of the Natrum sulph. Otherwise, the whole diarrhea picture is clear cut of the sulfur origin. So when you are learning such types of salts where two important ingredients comes together, we must understand what is natrum and what is sulf. If you are learning the natrum carb, you must learn what is carbon and what is natrum. What is natrum mure? Natrum is different and chloride is different. So if you make this habit, then you get more detailed idea about understanding of the single remedies. And that if you make that in your mind, it becomes quite easy to find it out a synthetic prescription when you are prescribing for the patient. Gonorrhea. See, this is the discharge of typical discharge of the natrum cell. Greenish yellow, painless, thick discharge. The pulsatilla, like pulsatilla. Chronic or suppressed gonorrhea. What is it? Chronic gonorrhea or suppressed gonorrhea. It is thick green is kali iodide. Here it is greenish yellow and little bit watery you can get in case of Natrum sulphuricum. Dyspnea. What is dyspnea? It is a difficulty in breathing. Desire to take a deep breath during damp, cloudy weather. And these are the people, they comes out of the house when damp, cloudy weather is there, and they said, my respiration it becomes very heavy, difficult to take a breath, and that's why they comes out of the house to take air. That is very typical with the Natrum sulphuricum. It is a very important remedy for humid asthma. So humid asthma in children. Even if you open the Boris asthma in children given in italics, and this is a very specific remedy Kent has utilized for the children's asthma. And he says no asthma in children can be cured completely unless and until we utilize the Natrum sulphuricum. So this is too important. Humid asthma in children with every change to a wet weather. Whenever wet weather comes and asthma starts, specifically in children, don't think of other remedy. First remedy to be think of is Natrum sulphuricum. With every fresh cold, always worse in damp, rainy weather, and sputa is green, greenish, copious. Tremendous expectoration, and it is greenish in color and it comes out and out and out and out. If it is greenish gray, it is copior. But it is very typical greenish and greenish yellow in Natrum sulphuricum. Psychotic pneumonia. The word which was used is very specific. It is a constitutional pneumonia. which is born, a child, the person is born with this psychotic taint, because of which he got the asthma. Asthma comes in psychotic miasm. Dominating miasm is always psychotic miasm. So psychotic pneumonia, lower lobe of left lung is involved. If it is right, it is bryonia. It is left, it is natrum cell. Specifically, if it is lower left, then it is typically natrum cell. Great soreness of chest during cough, has to sit up in bed and hold the chest with both the hands. See, the patient sits like this and he coughs and coughs and coughs like Nicola. Whenever patient holds the chest and that is right lung is involved while coughing, then it is bryonia. In bryonia, there is much more dryness which you can observe over there at the mouth. In natrum sulf, it is not there. In bryonia, cough is constant, continuous. In natrum sulf, it is more in the morning, associated with lot of breathlessness which you get in natrum sulphuricum, specifically in children. Spinal meningitis. Yes, very, very, very important remedy in spinal meningitis. It is a specific constitutional. Violent crushing, gnawing pains at the base of brain. Head is drawn back like this. Head is drawn back. Spasms with mental irritability, and patient goes into the delirious state. He talks baral toto. He talks violent congestion of blood to the head, delirium, and patient goes into the opisthotonous condition. Opisthotonous means dhanushyakriti. It is as if like a cicuta where you get convulsions where the opisthotonous condition is there. So this is a remedy for spinal meningitis. See, the remedy has multiple facets. It has a liver action, it has a lung action, it has action on the rheumatic system, it has action on the brain. Everywhere, the nervous system, the spinal system, everywhere, this remedy plays a wonderful role. So we must understand this remedy by heart. So this remedy, one must learn from the Borix remedy also. My suggestion to all of you, you must go through the even Murphy's keynotes, the remedy. So you get multiple aspects about this remedy, and that clears the aspects of natrum sulf in your mind. Now he explains the relationship, compare the natramur and sulf, which are very similar. Thuja in, there is a one wrong sentence is there. Thuja and Merck in syphilis and psychosis. No, it is not like that. Just scratch it out. Thuja in psychosis occurring in hydrogenoid constitution. That is relationship. The and Merck in syphilis. Just rub it. That is not that is the wrong thing. So thuja in psychosis occurring in hydrogenoid constitution. That is very typical, very close to the thuja. Both of them are king of antipsychotic remedies. Even medorinum is close, but medorinum is too hot. Natrum and thuja, they are the chilly remedies. Then complementary, there are two remedies which are complementary to the natrum sulf. One is arsenic, which can be worked as an acute in asthmatic conditions and later on covered with natrum sulphuricum. And thuja is also another complementary to the natrum sulf. So these are two important complementary remedies are there for the natrum sulf. Aggravation, damp basements or dwellings, damp weather like Arania, Arsardite, Dulcamara, Rustox, rest and lying down. These are the modalities where aggravation happens over there. Amelioration, specifically dry weather, pressure, sitting up, specifically for cough, changing position, but ameliorated in wet weather is causticum. Causticum is exactly opposite to it. Exactly opposite. So it is totally opposite to the natrum sulf. Causticum, Nux vomica, and Heparsol. These are having absolute opposite modalities. All three remedies, Nux vomica, Causticum, and Heparsol, they get aggravated during clear fine weather and ameliorated during damp rainy weather. That is the differentiation between these three remedies. Amelioration in open air, must change position frequently, but it is painful and gives little relief, like causticum. So patient must changes the position quickly, but it is painful. Whenever he turns, whenever he sits, the position, every time it is painful. It never gives too much relief, like causticum. This remedy is a very deep acting remedy, very deep acting. It has 30 to 40 days action mentioned by Gibson Miller. And this is truth because this remedy penetrates into all systems, including the liver, including the brain, including the vascular system, including the lungs, including the joints, everywhere. So this penetration of this gonorrheal poison is very deep, and that's why this psychotic remedy is a wonderful remedy in your practice for treating such a psychotic disorders. So we have learned it from this aspect from Allen's keynotes. If time permits, we'll again learn this remedy from the 12 tissue salts. But it is already, I have taken the natrum salt in 12 tissue. Those who are interested, they can go into the playlist of the YouTube and find it out, the natrum salt over there. Keep your Boris 12 tissue remedy book, Susslers, and just go through that lecture. I have explained it thoroughly. In fact, there were 72 videos on the biochemic system remedy. So it's a wonderful thing which has happened during the COVID time. I have taken whole series. So those who have not attended, they can go and learn that those from the playlist from the biochemic system of remedy. And few things which I want to share over here, that there are if you have read it from Allen, now it is a homework for you. Read this remedy from the Borix Mathematical. At least first paragraph, that is more important from Borix Mathematical. You can learn more facets. So this is too important to understand the multiple facets of this Natrum Sulphuricum. So make a habit of reading the Mathematica from different books so that you get interested and you can get over there the shared cases by them, which gives you a confidence to prescribe Natrum Sulphuricum. So we have learned one important aspect of that. If there are any questions, yes, we can have, we can discuss those. There, someone have raised the hand in between. Is there any query? We can discuss. We have time, 5 minutes.
Sir, natrum part is hot, sir, and sulfur is also hot. Natrum sulfur is chilly.
Natrum sulfur is chilly. Yes, basically it is chilly, aggravated during damp cold weather.
Any particular reason for that, sir? Natrum sulfur is chilly.
I could not understand your question.
But any particular reason for the natrum sulfur is chilly? Yes, because natrum part is hot. Sulfur is also hot. But
it's not like that. It's a you proving when it is not separately proved remedy. Natrum separately is not proved. Sulfur separately is proved and then added. It is not like that. Natrum sulfur itself as a salt is proved. And whenever salt is proved, it has its own identity. So natrum sulfur has its own identity. It gets aggravated in damp weather. That is its own identity. You cannot think why it is so. Not at all. So it's not like that. Natrum sulfur is the remedy which is you proved like that, and that's why it has those features. Natrum sulfur role in weight reduction and diabetes. No, it is not like that specifically. That diabetes, yes, you can as a constitutional remedy. It might be one of the remedy to be think of because diabetes comes as a psychotubercular miasm. You can think, but it depends. Whenever you are treating the diabetes, definitely. Second important thing, weight reduction. I don't think so. Because it is not a remedy which you will going to prescribe only on for the weight reduction. If you want to prescribe, you must have to prescribe on the basis of constitutional features. So this is too important. Please tell about repetition in asthma, which potency use. Asthma generally I used to start with low 30 and I used to repeat it for 2-3 days, 3 doses, and then I stop because it is deep acting remedy. 1 or 2 days it's sufficient. What is best repertory follows us. Follows. Best repertory, there are multiple repertories which you have to follow. Complete repertory is the best repertory, but my suggestion always to start with the Kent because Kent is more genuine. Whatever is there in Kent's repertory is of a genuine nature. And that's why first always follow the Kent's repertory, then go for the new repertory. The Murphy is good, the synthesis is good, the complete is good. I used to follow complete more commonly. Then Nair's repertory is wonderful repertory to understand the in-depth and states of the remedies. That's why it is a very important repertory. But one has to be a familiar with while using the Nair's repertory because it is their sentences are given. It is not like just one rubric is given. Can we use biochemic natrum sulfur for asthma for long periods? Yes, why not? Definitely. Definitely you can use. Yes, yes, Nisha. Fatty liver, yes, definitely. Any other? So when we start learning, multiple questions starts developing. My suggestion to all of you, keep your questions in your mind. Put it over there in inbox so that we can discuss. And second thing, on 10th September, when I was there, I will be there with Dr. Gaurang and Shishir. There was 1.5 hour session was there. Myself and Dr. Sanjeev Dole sir, both of us will be answering the queries of the participant. It will be unique because there are multiple questions arises when we start practicing, when we start learning homeopathy, and questions are more and we never get a printed answers to them because the questions are related with the dynamic entities and dynamic entities it requires little bit understanding. So this will be a unique thing when we will have that session during that seminar. My suggestion to all of you, don't miss that session. That will be wonderful for all of you to attend. Any WhatsApp groups, sir, for your site for teaching? Mm, Please send me your message on 98, my number that is 9890168872. This is my mobile number. You write your name from which place you belongs to. I will add you in the group. And those who have not yet becomes member of our Divine School of Homeopathy, they can become member of Divine School of Homeopathy by just paying 500 rupees once to same number and telling. So there is a telegram group. We used to add everyone who have paid 500 rupees into that telegram group where we used to discuss all those things, and it will be unique if you become member of our Sai Swami Medical Foundation. So it's once lifetime membership is there, just 500 rupees, and you can become a member. Those who have not yet subscribed our channel, the Divine School of Homeopathy, my suggestion, just subscribe so that you will get every intimation regarding it in future. So be there and be with our good group. Many people who have joined, even big teachers, they have joined our group on the Telegram. So it's a one-time investment, 500 rupees, and it's not too big amount to be a member of Sai Swami Medical Foundation or at the Divine School of Homeopathy. So be there with us. Thank you being there. And many practitioners, many senior practitioners are there over there. So thanks to them, and will number is already written over there. You can just see the message 98901 68872. It is just in I have messaged over there. So thanks a lot, and we'll meet again tomorrow at 6 o'clock with the philosophy session and 8:30 with the Materia Medica. Tomorrow's remedy is Bellis perennis and it is from Borix Materia Medica. Again, one more injury remedy from second year. So second year's class. So we'll finish that remedy in tomorrow's session. Okay. Thank you. Thanks everyone.